Hey guys, it's Andy again, and I would like to do a speech today on the power of the pause. Now, I joined Toastmasters 10, 12 weeks ago. I will be doing my fourth speech there this week. It's been an amazing place to gain confidence in talking in front of real life people. It's amazing how much easier it is laying down these messages on a camera than being in front of real life people who are looking at you. One of the biggest fears of mankind, until it's not scary anymore because you've become comfortable with it. This is my process. I'm very happy with my progress. The one thing I am still doing is rushing my speeches, not knowing enough space, not taking my time with each word, kind of rushing the sentences out the door so I can wrap up and sit back down again. And it's time to stop doing that. So the next speech I'm giving there is this: the power of the pause. Let's face it head on. Let's do a speech about it. If I can't take some pauses in this speech, then I'm really in trouble. So the pause, the void, the empty space, the defining border, if you like, of the content. It's so important. I think it really doesn't get enough focus. I really have appreciated, as I say, being forced to stand up in front of real people and get comfortable with just being the center of attention, with having the eyes on me. Like you say, we naturally have that tendency to want to speed it up and get the hell out of there. Let's just learn to be comfortable with all those eyes on us. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? They might see you. This is the idea. We're here to show ourselves. Now, I like to take a little bit of a pause at the start of every day, a short meditation. And I'm not into sitting cross-legged on a bed of nails. I sit in my comfortable plastic deck chair out on the patio, as long as it's not raining. Otherwise, I'll move inside. And just take 10 or 15 minutes to allow my mind to clear out. As soon as you try to force your mind to clear out, you're barking up the wrong tree. All you can do is allow the thoughts to dissipate a little. I focus on my breathing, the feeling of the air coming in and going out of my nostrils, and I count my breaths. It's really important to give your mind something to focus on. Our minds are a busy, busy place, and there's many layers of thoughts going on at any given time. When we sit down and quietly reflect or meditate, the idea is that we empty our heads out a little bit. We might not manage to empty out entirely, but even if you get halfway there, it's already been a great advantage. So I just sit there quietly, and as thoughts come to me, I just focus back. I picture the end of my nose, the breath coming in and going out. I can feel that. I'm counting, so I'm actually focusing on three things: sight and feeling and sound and counting. And it just helps me to release most of the other thoughts. And sometimes it goes better than others, but at the end of every time, I feel like it's been worthwhile. So I'm going to keep on doing that. That's one little pause that we can have in our day. Now, we live in a world of contrast. There is no black without white. There is no yin without yang. There is no joy without pain. It's a world of relativity. And this world is full of things. Now, we all love things. I love things. Things are amazing. I love heaps of things. But isn't it fun to focus on the thought that nothing, no thing, is equally as important? It's giving the space around the content. Everything needs space around it, essentially. You and I need space in between us. The planets need all the space around them in between each other to give each one definition, focus, order. So that space, that nothingness, that void. Are we starting to get an idea of how important that is? Now imagine if you go on a hike tomorrow to the top of a mountain. Now hopefully you're going to enjoy that hike. But when you get to the top of that mountain and you sit down and you take stock and you reflect on the walk that you've done so far and you absorb all of that and you sit and look at that with you, wow. That quiet moment of reflection, absorbing what's happening right here, right now. That might be the most important part of the day. Might be the part that you remember most when you get back home. Now, without having that walk, that pause would be a little meaningless. Imagine if you got out of your bed and thought, let's have the pause first, and you go sit on your couch in your living room and you just look out the window. It wouldn't be quite the same, would it? It might still be nice enough, but it wouldn't have that power to it. So we've had the content, we've walked to the top of the mountain, and after that content, that break, that pause, that quiet reflection, all of a sudden has so much meaning, doesn't it? Now, of course, you're eventually going to get back up and you're going to walk back down the mountain and go back home. But I wouldn't be surprised if that moment of sitting there in quiet contemplation, being in the moment, reflecting, absorbing, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the thing that you remember the most. Now, here in offices in England, is your boss often encouraging you to take a little break? I'm not quite sure how it works here, but I can imagine that they prefer you to keep on walking. I'm from New Zealand. I'm new in the country. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. But did you know that in Japan, it's quite standard in many companies for the employer to encourage all the workers to stop for a 5-minute break every half an hour, step away from your desk, go for a walk, do some stretching. You like to imagine in Japan, they're all doing their stretches or their Tai Chi or, having a little tea ceremony. Who knows? But in any case, do something different. Walk around, lie on the ground, jump up and down, go get a cup of tea, whatever it might be. But clear your mind out. In a way, what you're doing with those 5 minutes is you're emptying out your mind and allowing the next 25 minutes of content, of work, to enter. And you're going to be much more focused. Studies show that if you do this, if you take 2 5-minute breaks every hour and you work solidly for the other 50 minutes, you get more done in that 50 minutes than you do in the whole hour without taking the breaks. Because you have more clarity, more focus, more motivation. You know that in a while you're going to get back up and have a change of scene, right? Do a bit more stretching. Feel into your body a bit. So important if you are working at a desk behind a computer to just get up and move around on a regular basis. Shake it all out. Now, who here has heard of the term holding space for somebody? I'm sure just about all of you have. It's a beautiful phrase, and it basically means giving somebody the space to vent or tell their story. Maybe it's a happy story, but giving somebody the space to express themselves. And they might cry their eyes out or tell you quietly or scream and shout, whatever it might be. But you create a safe space for them to do this, to let it all out, to express themselves. Now, I want to transfer that idea to our speeches. I want us to hold space for our speeches, and I'm maybe talking to myself here. Take the time with each sentence. Take the time with each word. Let each word sit there comfortably, not jostling for space, not rushing out the door. Let your words be heard. Let them be felt. Let them be absorbed. And this is where the pause comes in so powerfully. That pause, especially at the end of a paragraph or a particularly poignant phrase, allowing that pause for people to absorb, reflect, feel what it is you're saying. Such an important thing. So let us not forget how important the pause is, not only in our speeches, but in our day-to-day lives and everything we do. Let's focus in on how important it is to take the time, take the space, take the pause. I challenge you to do this in your everyday life, whether you're at your work or at home. Just taking a little bit of time for yourself as often as you can or whenever you can. If you do it once or twice a day, it's already a whole lot better than not doing it all. But see if you can consciously take that little moment to ground yourself, to stop and pause 10 times a day. See if you can keep track and let me know how many times a day you manage to do it. Thank you for listening. This is Andy.